10x your service design offering with Smaply. Take 20% off any order with This Is HCD 20 off. Let's superpower you and your design team's potential. Sign up at smaply.app. Enjoy the episode from your friends at Smaply, helping support This Is HCD podcast.
They want you to have so many skills. They want you to be a graphic designer, an animator, a web designer, a 3D designer, and they want you to have 2 years experience for an entry-level job. So I think it's one of those things where I'm just trying to get as much skills built up as possible, and hopefully someone will take a chance on me.
Hello and welcome to Getting Started in Design. My name is Gerry Scullion and I'm the host of This Is HCD, based in the wonderful city of Dublin, Ireland. Now, in this episode I chat with Kelly O Dowd, a recent graduate from NCAD in Ireland, and we chat about what that experience was like leaving university, her search for jobs, and where they feel there's opportunities for universities to better support students in that highly emotional stage of life, and that's the transitional period between uni and working life. Kelly is a totally fantastic designer and I know you're going to get a lot out of this episode, so let's jump straight in. Kelly O Dowd, a very warm welcome to Getting Started in Design. How are you?
All good, all good.
We've been catching up there for the last half an hour or so, trying to get up to speed and what you've been up to. But maybe start off and we'll tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from and what you studied in university.
I studied illustration and design in NCAD. I graduated last year.
2021.
I'm from Drogheda, the same as Gerry.
Myself, I'm originally from Drogheda, folks, so it's one of those conversations when you get online, you can like, where are you from? And you're like, okay, great. Say exactly about a kilometre where I grew up. And you went to school in the girls' school, as we'd say. I was in the boys' school, so we're quite a different age group. But it's super cool to speak to somebody from Drogheda because there was always a great sort of history of what you did illustration in Drogheda. Like there was a lot of people who I know used to come and do spray painting underneath the bridge in Drogheda. Being part of it, Connor Harrington was a friend of mine when I was studying this artist. He's over in London. And I remember Connor coming up and staying in my house for a week and spray painting under there. And I was blown away by all these fantastic artists that were in the town that were kind of relatively unknown at the time. But anyway, so you went to school in Drogheda and you went to NCAD. How long was the degree? Tell us, how long you were studying in NCAD for.
The degree is 3 years, but I was there 4 because I did the optional year. We can go to Erasmus and you do internships and stuff.
Ah, nice.
And the year I was there, they implemented a new program called Bureau Plus. I think it was implemented the year before, so it was in the second year. And it was basically like a program for all of the designers. So we got to work with like different brands and do work for them. And then it was like a chance.
And where did you go in your Erasmus here?
I went to Groningen.
Where's that?
Netherlands.
In the Netherlands, okay.
Yeah. But I got sent home early because COVID hit.
Oh, no way.
I was there like a month and a half, I think. I had just started my college. Like I was just there for like 3 weeks maybe and I got sent home.
Oh, no.
So I did the rest online. Obviously not great.
Yeah, especially if you've given yourself a year to go away and explore and a new country and stuff, and then you find yourself back in the metropolis of Drogheda. Yeah, doing a Dutch internship. So yeah, like we won't dwell too much on how crappy the COVID period was. I'm sure online it was pretty tough.
Yeah, half my degree was online, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure at that stage there was a bit of scrambling going on. Like, I know a lot of the universities that I've spoken to were like, okay, how do we do this stuff online? But you were doing illustration. So maybe give us a quick overview of what that was like in terms of how you learned and how this stuff was being taught during the lockdowns?
Well, because I started, like, COVID hit while I was in that individual year, I think they
Mm.
kind of forgot about us. Because it was one of those years where, like, none of our actual points mattered. Like, it was just kind of
Right.
like for us to work with different companies and stuff. So not much happened after that, I don't think. I think I was more just focusing on my own work.
Mm.
But when
Keeping
I
yourself
was
busy.
finally back in college, um, well, like, in my final year, it was like we were in 1 day a week, I think.
Mm.
Um, I don't even know. It's kind of a blur. It
Yeah.
was like, it was so hard because we didn't even get to have our final show,
God,
so
that's a
in
shame.
person, which is,
The
like,
one,
the biggest thing. It's the biggest
yeah,
thing
it's
in
the
college.
reward, it's the payoff.
Yeah,
It's the celebration, it's the release as well, like, being able
yeah.
to share that experience with your classmates and stuff. Can I just go back a little bit beyond or earlier in your life when you were studying in school and you were doing your leaving cert? And what was the experience that led you to joining or to applying for the National College of Art and Design, or just generally wanting to study? Um, who influenced you at that stage?
Um, well, when I was in school, like, I wasn't normally when people go to art college, they're, like, the one person out of their class that was really amazing, and their teacher
Mm.
was like, "You're going to go to art school." In mine, there was 3 of us, and all
Right.
3 of us went to NCAD. And
Okay.
I was the one that, like, she was kinda like, "You can take it or leave it," kind of thing. I don't know. Um, I just decided I didn't know what I wanted to do. Um, I originally thought that I wanted to do, like, painting, or I
Mm.
don't know, like, I just knew I wanted to go and do something creative. Um,
Hmm.
so I did my portfolio in my 6th year in school. So I
Yeah.
didn't do a portfolio course after.
Hmm.
Um, so I was, like, the youngest in college by a mile. Like, I was 17 the whole way through my first year.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
yeah. So
That's pretty young. Yeah. So
yeah.
you weren't able to drink then in your first year of university.
Well, actually, because NCD used to be a brewery,
Oh yeah.
you're allowed drink on campus. So we would just have a lot of parties going on campus all the time. So it was actually
Yeah. Wasn't too bad. But you were pretty young doing your first year. Um, so when you entered into third level, what was your expectancy? What were you expecting to get out of your time there? Like, can you remember? Can you play back what that looked like? What did you hope to achieve by spending time in third level?
I I feel like it was very short-sighted. Like, it was like, "Okay, I'm finally here." Like
Mm.
like, whatever comes at me kind of thing. Like, especially in first year, we didn't even get put into design straight away. We had, like, a year where everyone did everything.
Yeah, core.
Yeah, the core year.
Right.
So for half the year, we were just, like, painting with sticks and ink and, like, throwing, like, random paper mache things together, and, like,
Right.
I'm awful at making stuff like that, and, like, I think I was really penalized for it, and when I started making digital stuff, like, our tutors were all fine art tutors, so they just didn't get it. Like, they were like, "Well, what's the meaning?" I'm like, "Does it have to have a meaning?" And
Mm.
now, after being put into design, I realize it doesn't have to have a meaning. Like, it can
Yeah.
just kinda look cool sometimes.
Yeah, and like a large part of any kind of experience is having somebody who kind of gets you and is open-minded enough to be able to say, well, this is a person and this is their interpretation of this,
Mhm.
especially in art college. And you were at that stage art college, and then you went into design college the way I see it, the College of Art and Design. First year there was art, the second part of it was design, and it's a
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
there's a difference between the two. So when you were going through and you went through into your second year then to study, was it visual communications? Is that what it's called?
Um, it was more illustration because they split the course in 2, like, 2 years before I got in.
Hmm.
Um, so we had a lot of the same projects together,
Hmm.
um, but it was more like I was more focused on the illustration side of things.
Hmm.
Um, So yeah.
What did you, but when you were, you've got an older brother as well, I know in your house and your parents, what were they hoping to get out of going to third level? Like, what was the thing that you were hoping to get apart from an education, which is obviously it's an accepted thing. Like say when you go to a restaurant, you get a meal, you're hoping you're going to be full at the end of it.
Mm.
You were going to get educated. Was there anything else that you're hoping to get out of the whole kind of experience?
I would have loved to get a job, to be honest. I don't think I even realized what I wanted to do while I was studying there for the first 2 years. I think it was only in my final year that I realized I really wanted to work in like a design studio. Like I wanted to work with
Mm,
other people. And I think as an illustrator, a lot of what you see is like illustrators online who are like freelance working for themselves and like have to
mm,
have this big social media presence with all
yeah,
these followers. And you have to be posting so regularly. And like to post decent work all the time is so hard.
absolutely.
I don't think it's like achievable for a lot of people.
Was there modules or lessons around running a business, and because the niche you went into in terms of illustration, and it's probably a niche within a niche in some ways. Um, Freelancing is most likely the way you're going to earn your living. Was there anything taught around running a business and being not an influencer, but using social media? And was that something that was taught during the course?
I don't know, not really. Like
No.
we had some people come in from the AOI, the Association of Illustrators, um,
Okay.
from England, and they came over and talked to us about like pricing yourself and stuff like that. But it
Mm.
wasn't really like concrete in what they were saying at all. Like I don't know, like it was a hard one.
You need to be very entrepreneurial
Mm,
to do this kind of stuff. Like, I know one of my friends in Australia, his partner, Jack Carty, if anyone who's been at the Doing Design Festival, Jack is a musician and his partner, I can't remember their name now, but they set up a website called the Carty Party. And it was the Cardi Party, as in like cards. And Jack is great with words, and his wife is an illustrator as well, and they did greeting cards online. But Jack's wife is an exceptional entrepreneur and was able to, do this kind of stuff pretty quickly, and it took them like a duck to water. But it just feels like there's a gap there. Like if you're working in a niche, it's confusing me why they don't really educate you about starting a business and
yeah,
how to go about promoting yourself and get clients. Um,
yeah,
because like as you've seen, you've struggled to land a job. Is that fair to say?
yeah, for sure. Like, I think there's an association with illustrators that they're going to be drawing kids' books, and it's going
Yeah.
to be very traditional. And the head of our department was like that, but we also had some other tutors that were more like modern in their approach, I guess. Like they were
Mm,
actually like making prints and doing stuff for big clients and stuff. But I don't think it was ever really put across to us how we achieved that. Like it's kind
mm,
of like, well, it's luck. Like you'll get it or you don't kind of thing.
yeah. Don't know if I subscribe to that, but there's definitely you can put yourself in the right place, and that takes a bit of knowledge and a bit of experience on how to position yourself to get to that piece of luck to happen. You finished 15 months ago, and what have you done in that period? And also, what was the whole kind of the saying goodbye experience from third level like? Can you remember what that was like? Because I know it was online.
Um, we didn't really get to say goodbye because it was still during COVID, kind of when it
Right.
we ended. Um, I think it was like the last wave, kind of.
Mm,
So we didn't get our degree show. Um, it was kind of just like, okay, so I've submitted all my stuff. Now what? Because you're so burnt out from working so hard on like all of this work that is supposed to
mhm.
be like get you all the jobs and get you everything. Like I'm done now. Like where what I'm meant to do next. And I don't know. Since then, I've been trying to make my way into the industry.
Mm,
I've done 2 different internships. Um, one with the design studio in Dunleary, Together We Create, which was amazing. And then another one in Spain this summer. I wanted to go somewhere sunny, why not?
Yeah.
um,
Pakistan only goes so far.
yeah, exactly. Which was more of like an in-house design role. But
Right.
and then from then I've been freelancing on the side,
Yeah.
doing my own work. And at the moment, I'm still trying to find a full-time.
Yeah. So let's talk about the internships, okay? Because there's probably a lot of stuff to uncover in that. The first one was that in Dublin.
It
You
was
got
in
an intern.
January, so yeah.
How did you get that?
The studio put out an Instagram post and basically
Okay.
said we're looking for an intern, and just
Hmm.
email this whatever. And I emailed and I got it. um,
Okay.
so
And
there was
what were you doing there?
I. It's a really small studio, so I think there was like 3 of us full time, and then there was other people that they hired to come in every so often for per project. So I was part of the design process the full way through. Like they'd work on branding things for like drink companies, for like dentists, for festivals. So I was part of it, making mood boards, talking to clients. I don't know, making animations, making short little illustration things. Yeah, it was really nice to be part of like a studio to see how it works and like how fast paced it is.
And you finished that. Um, how come, how long were you in that internship for?
I was there for I think 4 months, maybe 4.
4 months. Was
Yeah,
it paid?
yeah, it was. It was
Okay. And it didn't convert into, a contract or
no,
extended work? No.
unfortunately not. I think it's because of the fact that I did illustration. I probably didn't have some of the skills that like a graphic design
Mm.
graduate would have. Maybe it's more to do with the name of like, so you did graphic design, you obviously know all these things. And
Yeah,
illustration graduate, you probably do know a lot of the same things, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't translate as much.
absolutely. It's, so do you think you're in the right industry? Is this where you want to be? Do you know the things that you need to know at this stage? Like, are you happy with the choices that you made at third level? Do you feel like that you're in the right place at the right time now with your skills?
Not necessarily. Like I don't
Okay.
I'm doing a motion design course at the moment to try and upskill on that as well.
And why are you doing that? Like, what's driving this?
Because on job specs, they want you
Okay.
to do everything. They want you to have so many skills. They want you to be a graphic designer, an animator, a web designer, a
Hmm.
3D designer, and they want you to have 2 years experience for an entry level job. So I think it's one of those things where I'm just trying to get as much skills built up as possible, and hopefully someone will take a chance on me.
That language being used there, like someone to take a chance on me, is very resonant in my past, like looking for just somebody to say, okay, give me something. I want to work. I'm willing to work. Um, I can remember what that felt like, and it's a pretty crappy experience to be in that position where you're just learning things for the sake of trying to make yourself more employable. And I've looked at your portfolio before the interview, and your work is insane. Okay, like I love that style of illustration, and I'm going to put a link to that one in the show notes for so folks. If you're listening to this in Spotify or Google or Apple, there's a link in the show notes with Kelly's portfolio. Click on that and listen to us when we're talking, because you can see that there's an immense amount of talent here amongst Kelly, and Kelly's struggling to get a gig. So if you do know of anything that can maybe give Kelly a leg up when we're talking here, reach out to Kelly on their website. Goes without saying. But have you reached out back to your third level NCAD to explain where you're currently at, and is there any services there that can help you land a job?
I reached out to one of my tutors not long ago,
Mm,
and just sent my portfolio and said, "Do you know anyone? Can you contact anyone for me, or
mm,
any advice on my portfolio for me to improve it?"
yeah.
I got a reply back almost straight away
Mm,
saying, "Yeah, of course, I'll send it to whoever and I'll get back to you." didn't hear anything back. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's just like, how much can they help you?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the tutors are doing like 5 different jobs at the same time.
Yeah. I was going to say most of the tutors that I've experienced in my career, especially in NCAD, I had two or three. One in particular, though, really gave a shit and really wanted to make sure that everyone was set up for success. But unfortunately, that's not always true, and sometimes people are so busy that they just can't help everyone. But it's almost like the bridging between industry and academia. There's an opportunity there that hasn't really kind of hit. Was there? I think that usually happens in defense of NCAD at the end of year show,
Mhm.
where employers are invited in and they can look at the work, and it can help lead to conversations that to might lead to opportunities for employment. Like, well, what would you love to see? Like, how could they have made that experience better? And this is not just in NCID; it's across the board, and I'm sure in many sort of third level institutions. What could be made better for people like you when you're finishing university,
I think it's a
apart
hard
from a job, guaranteed job?
yeah,
I can't do
guaranteed
that.
job would be really nice. Um, it's a hard question because obviously they need more staff is the first thing. Obviously, I'm sure that can't be I can't
Yeah.
change that, but, um, I don't know, like, we need more business kind of topics, like, talked about in like, how to
Mm.
promote yourself, like, how
Yeah.
to reach out to clients, because I've done a lot of, like, emailing, just, like, cold emailing, like, people, and I've actually gotten jobs from it,
Yeah.
and no one teaches you how to reach out to people, and I
Yeah.
think in design, sometimes people email, like, very casually. Like, I've noticed, like, people in school, they teach you to be like, "Dear sir," like, and then
Yeah.
very, like, formal, but within, like, what I've seen, everyone's actually like, "Cheers, thanks so much," like, "Talk to
Yeah.
you later," and, like, you just don't get that kind of language, and, like, design studios don't really put jobs on, like, job boards, like, it's
No.
not a thing on LinkedIn, like, you have to be the one to go to them. Like, you have to email them and be like, "I really like your work, like, I love this project, please check out this, my work that I've done. Do you have anything available? Any
Yeah.
advice?" Like,
I
you're
definitely
not got
think the
that at
first
all.
yeah, I think the first couple of projects are the most important in your entire career, because if you get something that leads to something else, that leads to something, like, it's a snowball effect. And if you don't get that first couple of bits and pieces together, it's kind of you're chasing your tail almost to that point, like, but yeah, that would be a really nice module in terms of, even if it's a video course or something, that's saying, hey, listen, look, this is how to set up your LinkedIn profile. I think
Mhm,
General Assembly in Australia, when I did some work with them, I don't know, maybe 9 years ago or something, they did have a module about setting your LinkedIn up, setting your portfolio up, connecting with businesses. This is what you do, playing to your strengths and so forth, like that. So that's a really strong suggestion, Kelly. So for anyone's listening there who's working in an academic environment, I think that across the board, not just design, but I think that would be a fantastic introduction, how to set yourselves up for a job, like, how to do an interview, how to show your portfolio, how to present. They're all things that, um, most places aren't set up to educate
how to
people about.
network even, like, I don't I've
Yeah.
kind of learned, but I feel
But
like
even showcasing your work online, to employers, like having a newsletter that they can include all of the graduates to businesses
mhm,
around the country and Europe. That's an obvious one. I mean, the hiring managers across Ireland, and students get to say, "Well, I'd like to be included in that newsletter or that newsletter." That would be a really good thing for sort of institutions to lean towards. Um, where are you at now in your career? Like, if you're okay for me to talk a little bit more around your current situation, well, what are you doing other than the motion course? The motion is a motion
Yeah.
graphics.
Well, I'm applying for everything. I've applied to so many jobs, done so many
Yeah,
interviews, got a lot of rejection emails.
mm,
I'm also working like part-time, just in like a shop,
yeah,
also doing freelance bits all the time, event
yeah.
posters. I'm doing something for a clothing line at the moment, like little embellishments and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, just trying to. I don't even know what I'm trying to do, to be honest.
Yeah, it's super hard. Like I remember that I was just saying yes to everything and hoping something it led to something. Um, in terms of the what do they call them? The bodies, the design bodies in Ireland, like the Irish Design Institute is a great one. Charlotte Barker runs the Irish Design Institute. Um, have you reached out to any of these bodies in Ireland that might be able to assist? They might have programs or something that can help.
Yeah, they had a program last year for graduates when I left, and
Hmm.
you paid like 20 quid, I think, and then you were
Hmm.
part of this website which was full of all the graduates.
Yeah,
Um, and I was meant to like get a mentor, and it never happened. I never got a mentor. And they were meant to like send your portfolio around. Nothing ever came from it. So I don't know if just because it was so new or
yeah.
what it was. And then I just applied for Upstarts, which is part of
Oh yeah,
ICAD, which has a lot of the uh, biggest design studios in Dublin in it, and
hmm,
they release briefs from each design
yeah.
studio, um,
Okay,
and you get a mentor in that and stuff as well. So hopefully, I get to be a part of that.
yeah.
Um,
What
yeah,
about AP List? You know, AP List, the online design mentoring website. Have you tried that where you can get an international mentor? Have a check out for that. Anyone listening, it's a great resource. AP List. I'm trying to think of the other things that out there that could be of help. Like, you know, obviously, folks, we're not setting this podcast up to try and get people jobs and stuff, but Kelly's work is insane. And there's another institution, well, I wouldn't call it an institution, but since I've come home from Australia, we had an awful lot of prints that we purchased when we were traveling, and you know, we went to indigenous communities in Australia, and we bought artwork and stuff. And we had to get it framed, and we didn't want to go to any of the mummies and daddies suggestions of framers, and we were asking around where is a cool framer that gets this kind of stuff. And we were introduced to a business called Hang Tough in Ireland. And at that stage, I think they were in another premises. But
we have
when I
two.
went over, they've two now, yeah, yeah. But this was before they went into the super cool one. And I'll put a link to Hang Tough into this show notes as well for this, because Hang Tough to me get it. Okay, they get what the life is like for an illustrator. They run these exhibitions.
Hmm.
They have a newsletter there where it showcases design talent, local design talent, to people who go to get their pictures framed. And I've bought frames, and I've most of this house that I'm in, we've spent a couple of grand getting the stuff framed with Hang Tough, and we've bought prints as a result. When I go in and buy the get my pictures framed, I'm flicking through all these insanely talented Irish designers, and it's this kind of sort of I want to say the consideration for an experience, and consideration for the whole kind of industry that Hang Tough have, that I feel academia don't really have. It's like it's stuck in its own ways. I think if universities were doing more like what Hang Tough are doing, we might be having this conversation now, like, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, you're in Hang Tough. You're working with Hang Tough as well. So tell me what led you to Hang Tough? How did you get in touch with those guys? Because they're super cool.
I think it was an illustrator that I had seen before had their own show with them during the summer.
In
Um,
Instagram or something, was it?
yeah, and I just seen that they had an open call. Um, and a lot of the stuff they do is actually more painterly. It's not really
Illustration.
illustration. But I applied anyways. and I got picked to be one of the people in their winter show. It opens on the 1st of December, so I'm excited to be a part of that. I was there yesterday in their place in Portobello. It was lovely.
Okay.
The prints look amazing, so if you want one, check it out.
If you have a link for that, we'll put a link into the show notes for people to check out and maybe buy some of your prints as well. That would be a really nice thing.
Yeah.
But Kelly, listen, look.
Do a good job at that as well.
Who do?
Hen's Teeth Studio.
Oh, Hen's Teeth, yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah.
They do some great stuff. So I'll put a link to that one as well in the show notes for the episode. But Kelly, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up the episode? Is there any other bits and pieces? If people want to reach out to you, apart from your portfolio, how might they do that?
You can check out my Instagram.
Oh yeah, on the gram.
Yeah, my Instagram is Kelly O Dowd. It's such a random name, but that's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah, by email, it's in my Instagram and in my website as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, look, Kelly, thanks for being so open, and hopefully, things, improve in the next couple of months, a couple of weeks, hopefully. And stay in touch with us, and if there's ever anything we can do with This Is HCD, we're more than happy to help. All right, thanks for your time. So there you have it. That's all for this episode. If you like this episode, feel free to visit thisishcd.com, where you can access our back catalogue of over 100 episodes, with episodes related to service design, product management, design research, and much, much more. Now, if you're interested in design and innovation training, feel free to check out our business, thisisdoing.com, where you can join online classrooms and learn from the world's best design and innovation leaders. Join the This Is HCD newsletter, where you'll receive updates from the network, and also, if you're interested, apply to join the Slack community on thisishcd.com. Stay safe, and until next time, take care.